We're binding books to beat down some baddies as we share a cooperative word-building game in this Golden Thumb edition of Little Big Thumbs. Welcome to Little Big Thumbs. My name is JP, and the game we're talking about today is Illiterati, a cooperative word-building game for 1 to 5 players that's all about building words to save the world. The game is published by Gap Closer Games, is recommended for ages 7 and up, and often lasts about 30 to 45 minutes. Little Big Thumbs is all about finding great games that are equally fun for little players and big players. And when we find a game that strikes that balance just right, with some sort of mix of an accessible family mode or a layered gameplay that kids and adults can enjoy simultaneously, but kind of at different levels, we like to recognize and celebrate those games with the Golden Thumb Award. And we're pleased to announce that Illiterati is the latest winner of that award. And when a game wins the Golden Thumb, we not only want to celebrate it, but we want to put a copy of that game into the hands of one member of our Little Big Thumbs community. So make sure to stick around to the end of this video so you can learn all you need to know to enter our Illiterati Golden Thumb giveaway. Over the next few minutes, we'll be offering an overview of how to play this game, discuss the ways in which it can be modified for younger players, and then list the key factors that make Illiterati so deserving of the Golden Thumb Award. So let's stock up on our bookmarks and polish up our dictionary so we can go to battle and save the literary world with our Little Big Thumbs overview of Illiterati. In Illiterati, we are playing as a team of librarians who are working together to fight against the forces of evil, who are trying to ban and burn books as part of an evil plot of world domination. How are we going to stop them? Well, we need to be trying to bind books quicker than those evil forces are trying to destroy them. In the context of the game, the books we're binding come in blue and red varieties. Each of these cards gives us the requirements we need to bind that book, telling us how many unique words, total letters, or special symbols on those letters that must be used to complete the binding. We'll be starting with 5 letters each, and we draw 7 more letters at the start of each round. Also, at the start of the game, there are going to be 3 letters placed in the middle of the table, which is called the library. We'll come back to the significance of the library in just a moment. Once everyone has their letters, we flip over this 3-minute timer, and at this point, we can swap or give letters or even entire words to other players, all with the goal of using all of these letters to form words. Although we ultimately need to be completing those book cards, our primary goal of each round is just to survive, and that's where that library comes into play. Once the timer runs out, any letters that are not part of a word are placed into the library, and if the library has more than 3 letters, one of those letters will be randomly added to the burn tracker, which represents books being burned by the evil Illiterati, along with our hopes and dreams. Anyone who completed a book binding this round discards any words that contributed to that binding, followed by taking a new book card. And then, the evil Illiterati arrive with a dastardly plot twist. 1 Illiterati card is flipped over each round, and we follow the attack instructions on that card. They might tinker with the size of our library, or maybe even force players to discard additional letters. But the absolute worst part of the Illiterati phase is when the same villain makes multiple appearances in the same game. When that happens, they inflict a chain attack, repeating all previous effects in addition to the newly drawn attack. After the Illiterati phase, we'll be drawing another 7 letters per player, and then starting the next round all over again. Once all players have completed their required book bindings, we will then progress to the final chapter, the final battle in which we attempt to win the game and defeat the Illiterati once and for all. In this round, only 1 book card is drawn, and all players must complete the final chapter portion of that card all on the same turn, and all without exceeding the library limit. However, if the burn tracker card is filled with letters or the Illiterati deck is fully exhausted before the final chapter is completed, the Illiterati have won the game and claimed full control over our literary world. Okay, Hopefully you have a better understanding now of how to play Illiterati. So why don't we go transition over to our reviewer hats, and then we can talk about what makes this game so great for kids and adults, and a few of the unique factors that all add up to a golden thumb celebration for Illiterati. Okay, we're ready to break things down with our Golden Thumb review, and remember, if you do want to take part in that Golden Thumb giveaway, make sure to stick around to the end of the video for all of those juicy details. There is so much to love about Illiterati. It's very quick to set up, and the cards are wonderfully illustrated. But I'm going to narrow it down to just 3 key factors that make this such a great experience for players of almost any age to enjoy together. The first win for Illiterati is the setting of the game, the theme, the background, the story that we're dropped into. It's a tall order to wrap a theme around a word game, but Illiterati not only has a story behind it, but it's got one that's positively dripping with tension. And let's face it, we're living in a time where there are actual forces trying to ban and burn books from our schools and libraries. So while the villains in this game are presented with some delightful illustrations of cartoonish evil, this game isn't nearly as fictional as we might like it to be, and the end result is some truly tremendous narrative window dressing. Our second gold star for Illiterati is the framework behind the actual word building of the game. There's kind of a bananagrams vibe going on with this game, with some directed guardrails for the types of words we're looking to create. For adults, it can feel a little brain birdie to be using at least 8 letters to find, for instance, things that are smaller than a dime. And for children, the freedom to exchange letters and create and break up words can be a wonderful learning opportunity that doesn't necessarily feel like learning. It's a dual-layered experience that strikes a perfect chord for us. And finally, and this is initially what really lit a spark for me with this game, is how positively malleable nearly every aspect of the game is for making the experience more accessible for younger players, or making it much more difficult for folks looking for a steeper challenge to overcome. Do kids need more time to craft their words? Keep the sand timer in the box. Is the final chapter round making the game too long? Just play until everyone has 2 books bound. Are those punishing Illiterati chain attacks tricky to keep track of? Just resolve 1 attack per round and save the chain attacks for a future game. On the other side of that coin, we can make the game more difficult by increasing the number of books we need to bind, or we can permanently reduce the size of the library, or even force players to have 0 letters in the library as a requirement for completing that final chapter. We could even cut the Illiterati deck in half to increase that looming threat of those dastardly cards running out. On top of all of that flexibility, there are rules to play the game solo, or even to play in a head-to-head or team versus team competitive mode. The building blocks of this experience make for such a flexible system and leads to a game that has the potential to grow and adapt with a family or gaming group. And that longevity is the factor that really is such a major factor in us giving this game our golden thumb. Of course, I also have to acknowledge that while this is an amazing game for me and my little gaming bubble, this is not going to be a game that's perfect for everyone. If you're a player that just doesn't like word games, Illiterati is probably not a game that's going to change your mind about them. And while all of the text on the cards is public information, there is a fair bit of reading required, which might be a concern with certain groups of players. So although I'm positively buzzing for Illiterati, you should not let my enthusiasm get in the way of you making your decision for whether or not this is a game that's going to be a good fit for yourself and your gaming community. To wrap things up today, I'll say that Illiterati is primarily a game for older children and adults. My 8-year-old Big Bean can absolutely hold her own at this game. But for 6-year-old Josie, we found success by leaving out the book cards and letting her freely mess around with a stash of letters with no sand timer running. And in the end, it's that combination of a really compelling thematic setting, a truly fun word-building experience, and that amazing assortment of flexible mechanisms that all add up to a game that's going to be hitting our gaming table for years to come. Congratulations to the creative team behind Illiterati and Gap Closer Games on creating such a unique game, and one that we're thrilled to have officially join our coveted shelf of Golden Thumb winners. And as I've been mentioning throughout this video, with our Golden Thumb celebration comes a Golden Thumb giveaway. To enter the contest, you'll need to be subscribed to LittleBigThumbs here on YouTube and leave a comment on this video with the name of your favorite literary villain. And if you're feeling especially inspired, let us know why. So let us know in the comments, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and then you'll be entered into the contest. We will randomly determine a winner to this contest in a future episode of LittleBigThumbs, and we'll let that winner know by responding to their comment in this video. And because this giveaway is sponsored by the publisher and they have their own specific fulfillment options, entries to this contest are limited to residents of Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia. Thank you to Gap Closer Games for sending us a review copy of Illiterati to make this video possible, and for sponsoring the Golden Thumb giveaway. And as always, thank all of you so much for watching this video and the channel as a whole. We will be back soon, and until then, whether you've got little players or big players, make sure that you keep playing games that make your thumbs go way up. Bye for now.